This week on the Punks on Pizza podcast, I'm bringing to you Michael Dent, first wave punk rocker from Toronto. His band, the Dents, formed in 1978. He's also a prolific roadie with extensive sound crew experience, with tons of bands over the years, but punk rock and roll. He has a book coming out here shortly. The hardcover is already sold out, but there's a soft cover on the way. Check it out now. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Dent.
So I was going to ask you right off about forming the Dents, going way back, all right, being just a young lad. Tell me about the music you were taking inspiration from at the time while forming that band.
Great question. Actually, I had been walking down Yonge Street and saw this poster, and it said, well, up till this poster, music I'd been listening to would be Alice Cooper, Kiss, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, that sort of stuff, like typical 70s rock stuff. I mean, what else was there to listen to? And as I said, I'm walking and I see this poster, and it's like 1950s graphic of a mom, an aproned mom washing the dishes, and it said, "The dishes already a household word" at the Bev, and I just went. First off, the graphics were not something I was used to. And I thought, all dishes already a household word with the graphic, I thought was really clever. And I had just turned legal because at that time they had lowered the drinking age to 18, and they later raised it back to 19. So I went down and saw this band, and they were a very campy. I didn't know then, but in retrospect, they were sort of Sparks meet Roxy music, sort of campy sort of music. And I became friends with the drummer, and we became friends, and I started going down to his place. I lived out in the suburbs, so I used to go down quite often to his place, and we'd hang out, and we'd drink beer and smoke weed, and I had just gotten into that, so it was a cool place I could go to, and I could do that sort of thing that without parents overseeing. And he turned me on to all this cool music. He turned me on to the Damned's first LP, the Sex Pistols' Anarchy in the UK, because the album wasn't out yet. Roxy music, Cockney Rebel, Alex Harvey, Eno. Eno did that record with the symphony orchestra, something. I can't remember, but they're all players that they sort of knew how to play instruments. Portsmouth Symphonia.
Oh, okay.
And Noi. So these were bands that were sort of my pre-punk bands, and then he also took me to OCA, which is Ontario College of Art, and I saw some early sort of pre-punk bands. Examples, the Eels, which later on turned into Johnny and the G-Rays. Oh Those Pants, which a number of those turned into the Cads, for that's first wave punk. And so stuff like that. And then I always helped Stephen Davey, that's the drummer of the Dishes, put posters up for the Dishes gigs. And one day he said, "Oh, come on up here, my friends rehearse here." A band called the Diodes. And this was a couple of doors down above Cooper's Furniture on Queen Street, which is a couple doors down from the Horseshoe. And so that's when I met the Diodes, and I really liked what I was hearing. And they said they were opening up a club, which turned into the Crash and Burn. But now I got to backtrack a bit because of hanging out with Stephen Davey and the Diodes and getting all this new music, I was bringing this back to Don Mills, where I lived, and turning my friends on to this cool music, like the Damned and the Pistols, and later on Ramones and stuff. I was the first punk in my school, and I had a lot of talent. Dave Betts from Honeymoon Suite. Um, I think they were called December's Children. But some of Blue Peter came out of there. Well, the Dents came out of which turned into the Existers, and much more. So I was the one who put the music up. I decided that I wanted to be in a band, and then once the Crash and Burn opened, um, at that point, myself and the other Dents, we'd already formed a band, and we are writing songs and rehearsing. What is that sound? What is that sound?
Is there a sound?
It sounds like it sounds like water,
Oh,
like waves washing up on a beach.
not that close to the ocean. But don't.
It's weird. I can hear this. It's coming through my speakers. It's sort of bugging me. So, anyways, we had at that point 6 songs. So I asked the Diodes if we could get a gig at the club, and at that point we were called the Sneakers. Um, and they said, "Oh, okay. Do you have a full set?" And I lied, said, "Yeah," even though we only had 6 songs. So I told them we had to have a full set. So by the time we actually got the gig, which was opening for the Diodes, um, I think we had 8 songs. So we did the 8 songs and then did an encore of 2 more. And the poster came out and it said the Diodes, Crash and Burn, the dates. It said introducing the Dents, and I went, "Who the fuck are the Dents?" So I asked John. It was John Cato that named us, and he goes, "We didn't like your name, so we renamed you." Since the poster was done, it's like too late really to do anything about it. I guess we were called the Dents now. And that, which is how I got my name, obviously, like Ramones. People call me Michael Dent, and I've used that ever since because that's pretty much how 99% of the people I know me as. So that's how it all began.
Okay. Well, that kind of segues into my next question there, which was most people think of during the late 70s for as far as the punk movement, think about London and New York. What did that look like when it finally started to take off in Toronto?
Okay, um like what did I think of how the whole punk thing took off, or how did the punk thing? What did I think of how it took off in Toronto?
In Toronto, specifically.
Oh, well, I fucking loved it, man. It was fucking enthusiastic, and it was very small. Like basically, I don't know if you've seen the first Diodes LP, but on the insert, like the dust cover on the back, it said "Thanks," and it's just a list of about 200 names, or less than that, maybe 100 names. That was the entire Toronto punk scene. That list is basically the entire Toronto punk scene. And now there's even people doing the Woodstock thing, right? Yeah, I was at the Crash and Burn. It's like, no, you weren't. Uh, it was so small, everybody knew each other. And then if I even ask them, so explain to me, what answer, right? And it's like, fuck you, man, I was there. It's like, no, you weren't. I worked the door. I actually there. I was the doorman at the Crash and Burn, and I always used the other 2 Dents. I was the legal one. The other 2 Dents were multicultural Toronto punk band because Muhammad is South African, and I'm Métis, and then we got White Boy Evan on guitar. So and we were also the youngest band. And yeah, it was an awesome time, man. Everybody knew each other. And then after the crash and burn, that was the days when people lived in warehouses and people had like 3,000 square feet, and they'd have a stage in there. And we go back, and I'd see bands like the Doncasters, which turned into Martha and the Muffins, free at 3 in the morning, and just getting pissed and stoned at 18, and turning my other band members into juvenile delinquents by turning them on to all these weirdos, cool, different music and drugs. I mean, drugs were like, despite what the last Pogo and various members like John from the drummer for the Diode said, "Oh no, nobody smoked dope. Drugs were." He's fucking full of shit. Drugs were like fucking everywhere, and sadly, not enough cameras.
Yeah, that.
Um, the first wave Toronto punk scene was extremely poorly documented. There were no cell phones. I can think of maybe 6 people in the scene that had 35 millimeter cameras. That's about it. Rodney Bowes, Paul Diode's girlfriend, Carol Starr, Ralph, Ralph who managed the Diodes, Ralph Alfonso, and a couple more, Don Pyle, and not much else, man. Back then, a camera cost a shitload of money, not to mention the film. So extremely underdocumented part of Toronto music. Extremely underdocumented, which is really sad. And I've lost all my archives, because of my junk days and stuff. I sold all that shit in Vancouver.
No, do you remember what the first couple Dents gigs looked like?
The first couple of
Like Dents gigs, like when you guys got your first couple live gigs.
Oh, absolutely. Like the very first one was opening for the Diodes at the Crash and Burn. And I just remember that we did our 8 songs and people wanted an encore. We didn't have more. The Diodes got pissed off because we got an encore. So we just did 2 more songs. The Diodes, they ran every time they brought a band from America in, they opened. And so they were very good, wouldn't give any other bands that opening slot. It was their club, were opening. So they got pissed off at us because we had to play 2 more songs, or just the fact we got an encore. I mean, I'm friends with all of them now, so even if I say this, they're not going to take that personal and go, "That fucking asshole, fucking lawyer." They're cool with that shit. So it was a very weird time, a very strange time for me, because I also worked for the Diodes, helping them like move their gear and work at the Crash and Burn as their doorman, do sound for them and stuff. Yet when they opened for the Diodes, when they were on, they had switched from bottles to cans. Good idea.
Yep.
And they got absolutely pelted with beer cans, and I was laughing because I thought, well, it's punk, right? And that's punk as fuck. They couldn't handle it. And so after the Dead Boys, the Dead Boys destroyed their entire equipment. They went home in an empty van. I had Cheetah Chrome's guitar neck, and I'm sitting out front with the drummer for the Vile Tones. And Paul, the drummer, singer for the Diodes, comes out. He fucking starts wailing on me. And Mike, the drummer for the Vile Tones, stopped him, and he goes, like, "Fucking lay off." They were pissed off at me. Like I was responsible for the torrent of beer cans. It wasn't. It was everybody was pissed off at them because this was one of the very last shows before Crash and Burn closed. Everybody was pissed off at them because of their attitude. Like, it's our club. We get to open for all the bands, the American bands we bring in. I see the bottle of OE behind you.
Oh
Fuck
yeah.
yeah. So everybody was pissed off at them. That's what it was. But it's okay. When you got in there, you paid your $2 at the door. Then you went down 6 stairs, and there was a table where they sold you beer tickets, $2 a ticket. And then you brought your beer ticket to the Victoria Claw Tub, which was filled with. They had a liquor license, special occasion permit for 25 cases of beer a night. Crash and Burn was only open Friday, Saturday, and it was only open for 3 months. So you gave them a ticket, they gave you a beer, and they just tossed the ticket on the floor. So Saturday, when I went in there to set up, clean up the empties from the night before and shit, I would clean up the beer tickets and pocket them. And
Recycle
so
and
when
reuse.
Dents came in, I'd hand them 5 or 6 tickets. So we drank for free, unbeknownst to the diodes. Well, they know that now because I've told them and it's in the book, but
Yeah.
they know that now.
No,
Fuck. And then, of course, they shut the Crash and Burn one weekend because basically the entire Toronto punk scene went to New York City for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the lineup was from New York, the Cramps and the Boyfriends, and from Toronto it was Vile Tones, Teenage Head, and the Diodes. And on the Sunday, Lydia Lunch, that's where I met her at that gig. She got the Dents a guest set on the Sunday, and somehow the Curse got a guest set on the Sunday as well.
Now, I wanted to ask you about, you actually got to play at CBGBs, am I correct in that?
I did. I got to play 6 songs.
You did? Okay, all right. Tell me about that. How did that opportunity come? Being just a humble boy from Toronto, Ontario, how'd you land the gig at the most legendary establishment to have ever existed?
This is quite a long story, but I have to say it. Okay, so everybody, like I said, went to New York. And so we talked our best friend Kier, who owned a Honda Civic, to drive us down. We had a 4th member in the band, Andrew, who said, "I don't want to go, man. I have a paper route." So he went, "Fuck you, you're fired, asshole." So the 4 of us went down, the 3 band and Kier, and we got really high in the car. And when you leave Toronto, you go on the QEW. Now, all off ramps are usually to your right. The off ramp to Buffalo is on your left. So we missed it. And somehow we ended up in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Wasted. 3 a.m. And the immigration, the guy couldn't believe, he's laughing his head off like, "You're from Toronto and you're in Detroit and you're going to New York?" He was laughing, and and we were fucking just completely baked. I don't even know how we made it over the border. And so by the time we got to New York, all the places, like all the floor space at the what's that famous hotel? Famous punk hotel.
Irving?
Patti Smith lived there.
No, sorry, no. I'm not. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm blanking on it too.
Early onset. Anyway, it's a famous fucking hotel. Chelsea.
The Chelsea Hotel, yeah.
So basically, a lot of the people got rooms there, and so the floor space and their rooms were full. People that had like friends that lived there, their places. So we had nowhere to stay, so we thought we'd just sleep in the car. And also, this was the summer of Sam, right? There a lot of fucking fear and terror in New York City, and we stupidly said, "Oh, we'll just sleep in the car." So, anyways, the first night at CB's, I'm watching the Vile Tones play, and there's this chick. They have these locks, what I call the New York City lock. They're big fucking silver locks, about this big, about that thick, and it's like pretty much every place with a roll slather window that you slide down has that to lock it. So I call them the New York City lock, because I'd never seen them anywhere until I went to New York City. They're prevalent now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was on the length of a chain. She had a length of chain with that on, and she was swinging this lock, trying to connect with Nazi Dog or Stephen Lecky's foot, finger for Vile Tones. And when I saw her doing that, it was like, I'm in love. Who is this woman? So I went up to her and I went, I hope you hit him. And we started talking. And what's your name, Michael? What's your name? She goes, Lydia. And she goes, oh, so where are you guys staying? And I said, well, in our car, because, and I explained the story. And she went, oh, I've got a huge loft. You guys can stay with us.
Oh, awesome.
Which was awesome. So that's how I met Lydia Lunch. And she's the one that got us the guest set on the Sunday, because she knew the sound guy, Cosmo. So she got us. But what's even cooler is the Cramps rehearsed at her place.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
And
nice.
and then later that night, was Teenage Jesus played at Max's. So we cabbed all the gear down in a yellow cab. Those, my first time in America, those fucking things are massive, man. Bands use them to transport gear all the time. Massive trunks. Not only that, you could sit in the back seat, stretch your legs out. If you were 7 feet, you could stretch your legs out and still not touch the front seat. So bands always use these. So got to see Teenage Jesus in a band called The Police opened, a 3-piece band called The Police.
Yet to make it, obviously.
Don't know if it was a bass player had like long blonde hair, so I don't know if it was the same. Don't know, don't care. Anyway, she got us a guest set at CB's for the Sunday, and that's how that happened.
You were down there?
Not with the Dents, no. But I've toured the States many times because I also worked for bands.
Yeah, I know you've done
Like
extensive roadie work.
I was in a band, but I was also a bit of a fanboy. And one of the people I met was Rhonda Ross, the drummer for the B-Girls, also a first wave Toronto punk. She worked for SRO, which is Rush's management. And I had met her because of Stephen Davey from the Dishes. So I met her, and I was a Rush fan because there was music before punk.
Yeah.
And if you're Canadian, you gotta like Rush, man. That's just the fucking way it is, man. That's just the way it is. If you're Canadian, you gotta fucking like Rush. So I met her, and of course, being fanboy, oh my God, you work for Rush, and she wasn't in the B-Girls then. That came later. And Rush always used to play Maple Leaf Gardens, New Year's Eve. So she invited me as a guest to go see Rush on New Year's Eve, and the opening band was Wireless, and I liked Wireless, and they were sort of an expatriate Australian band. Used to be called Autumn in Australia, and then they went to England and then came to Toronto along with a band called Flying Circus. So 3/4 of the band were Aussie, and the singer and one guitar player were Canadian. So anyways, I got to go to the party after and meet Wireless. So I was like fanboy, right? I was like, 18, I meet this fucking band that just played Maple Leaf Gardens, and it's like, oh, I'm just like overjoyed, and I'm asking stupid questions. And I said, so if you have two heads, do you plug into one, come out of the output, and then plug in the input of the next amp? And the sound man goes, what a stupid question, you'll blow the second amp. No. And the guitar player said, no, that's not a stupid question. He doesn't know. And then the guitar player said, no, you plug into the input, you come out of the second input into the input of the second head. Oh, thank you. So anyways, later on, they played at the Gasworks, so I got to be a guest again of Rhonda's, and I got to go to the after party because it was a Saturday night, and meet the band, and pretty soon I got to go to a lot of their gigs, and then Saturday nights I would help them load out, and then at a point in time I'd help them load in the amps and I started setting up the drums. And then after that, it was drums and the amps. And pretty soon, I was setting up the entire fucking stage myself, free. But I was learning a trade.
Yeah.
And I worked for them for basically free for a year and learning my shit. And I had nowhere to live. I was homeless. And I asked my mom if I paid her $35 a week, could I live in the basement? She went, yeah. So I asked the band. No band had 4 road crew. This was extravagant, but their management agreed, and they saw my work ethic and my love for the band. So they paid me $35 a week. So I now had a roof over my head and a fucking paying gig.
Yeah, and hey, if you're getting paid for something you enjoy, that's hardly work.
And they're the ones that taught me my craft. And later on, I went to work with Saga, Lisa Del Bello, and then FM. And Nash The Slash, and then FM after they reformed, and then back with Nash after they broke up again for the same reasons they broke up the first time. And then after that, I worked for I booked and did house sound at the Beverly Tavern.
Last question about New York while you were there. I know you got to meet Andy Warhol briefly. Now, it was about a decade after the factory's heyday, but did you still feel a heavy Warholian influence on New York while you were there?
I didn't meet Andy in New York. I met Andy in Toronto at the Art Gallery of Ontario when I was 16.
Okay, my apologies.
But no, good question. But his art, at 16, I don't do shit about art.
Yeah,
but I know when I look at something if I like it.
I don't know about art, but I know what I like.
Dug Andy's work. I don't know why I dug it. I just, something about it I just fucking dug. To this day, I don't fucking know. I just know I like it. Most of it, some of it. Anyways, his art did influence the music as well, because so many artists have mentioned Andy Warhol, the Velvet Underground, and then New York Dolls, that whole thing, which are like all proto-punk stuff. So this is also part of my music education, and that it was just another facet. Even though Warhol is not music, he's art, but music and art go together.
Yeah.
And also the factory and Lou Reed and all that shit. All that stuff is all connected, right? So it's all part of my experience, I guess you could call it.
All right, and last question about the Dents, I suppose. What did the end of that band look like?
Ooh, fuck. Okay. At some point, okay, remember Rhonda Ross? Her sister Cynthia Ross, she's in New York Junk right now, but she was the bass player in the B-Girls. So Rhonda played drums, Cynthia played bass, and so the third sister was Lisa, and I was fucking Lisa when I was with Wireless and doing the Wireless and the Dents thing together. Because at that point I wasn't working for Wireless, I was still doing so I could take a night off to do my own shit if I wanted, because I wasn't getting paid. And so I was fucking her, and apparently the bass player of the Dents decided he'd start fucking her as well. So I found out about it, and I said I fucking quit, threw a beer in Evan's face, and said, "You're a slut" to Lisa. And that was the end of me and the Dents, even though it was my fucking band. I started it. I named it. Well, I named it The Sneakers. I wrote most of the lyrics, none of the music. So they got another drummer. They went on for maybe another 6 months, and that was the end of that. And now they're boring. Evan lives on Toronto Island, and he's an architect. And Mohammed has kids, and he lives in the suburbs, and both of them are boring. They don't know how to have fun anymore.
That does happen to some of them. That definitely does. Now, you were saying the Toronto scene was like criminally under. It wasn't documented nearly as well as it should have been. Did you get into photography before or after you were playing with the Dents?
Oh, I didn't take photos at all then. Actually, I started doing the photography thing when I started working with Nash. When we went to the UK, actually before I would take I had a shitty Kodak Instamatic, and Nash had this old Ricoh camera, old Ricoh 35. So he gave me that. So I started doing photography, working with Nash. And when we went to England, I brought my Polaroid camera, my Kodak Instamatic, plus the Ricoh. I came back with about 50 rolls of film, plus my Polaroid photos. So that was the beginning of it, really. And then I went through my junkie years and didn't do it at all. And I took it up again when I lived in Victoria. When I moved to Victoria, a friend lent me a camera. He was an artist. And I just started taking pictures, and he was looking at my phone. He just said, "You've got you can do this really well. Plus your subject matter, you just got a really good eye." And that was sort of the beginning of my photography phase. And then I got my first little digital camera, and then a better one, and just progressed from there. But I'm not doing much of that now because I do a lot of different types of, and like I'll do photography a while, I'll get bored of that, and then I did my book, right? So that now I'm into a writing phase, and if not photography bores me, it just, how could I put this the right way? It doesn't. It's not like I've lost interest. It's not like it bores me, but it's like it's not my main focus right now. Just because I did the book, which I didn't even fucking want to do, I was bugged into it. But now that I've done it, now I have like 6 more books in mind. See, this is what happens. So my guess is I'll probably do 2 or 3 of those books, and then something else will grab my attention, and I'll do that.
When it comes to cameras now, I know you were just mentioning kind of the progression of digital camera. Do you have a preference, digital versus film?
I like them both. Um, Digital, I find, is more instant, of course. So there's that gratification. I don't have to bring it to a shop, wait for it to get processed, and all that shit, not to mention the cost.
Yeah.
But I do both. There's benefits to both.
All right. Now I know you were just talking about how it kind of took off more seriously while you were touring with Nash The Slash. And I was just curious, you were talking about going over to the UK. Do you have any kind of favorite memories from that period while you were touring with him? I know we could be here all night.
Oh, there's plenty. Okay, when we went over to the UK, that was to open for Gary Newman on his teletour for Telecon, that album. And then Nash got signed, so he started recording. Then he did a London tour of clubs. You can actually tour London. It's that big. You can actually do a fucking tour of London. And then Nash did a UK tour. And we also opened for Newman at Wembley. So probably the most infamous story is my $900 phone call. That was when we, on the Newman tour, the last day of the tour, party, crazy fucking party, basically drank the hotel dry, not to mention the damage. I don't know how many thousands of pounds of damage we did to that hotel. Oh, fuck. There's some arrestable shit. Like, we fired off every fire extinguisher. I mean, that's like, you could be jailed for that shit. We also threw a pinball machine down the stairs. So anyways, before we went to the UK, I lived on Church Street in this Victorian 3-floor Victorian house, but it was a row house, a Victorian row house. So there's about 10 houses all connected. So beside me was this English mom and English daughter. English daughter lived on the 3rd floor, and I would hop the fence and would fuck her daughter. And then the tour came up. So I thought it would be a good idea, completely out of my fucking mind, on drugs and drink at the end of the tour, I decide to phone her. First off, I'm in a hotel. So you're already, rates are probably doubled at just using a hotel. Plus, this is England where they plug you in. One of these. If you don't hang up, they don't plug you. So I'm yakking with her, and I guess I fell asleep. She hung up. Not the hotel. And Nash had told me not to phone. So the next morning, I had no idea. I just went, oh, fuck, hung up the phone, and I staggered down completely, still fucking drunk from the night. And Nash is absolutely beat red in the face. And he goes, do you know what you did last night? I told you not to phone. That call cost $900. I had to put that on my plastic, which was for emergencies. And I just went, well, there goes my tour pay. Embarrassing as fuck. And I figured that out what that is in today's dollars. That's about $1,300. Last time I checked, it was $1,285. So I'm sure it's about $1,300 now in today dollars.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Nash was fucking furious. Years later, we laughed about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that after that, Nash went home for Christmas, and then I got a gig. I stayed in London because I figured after that phone call. Also, the plane tickets were like $1,200 then for a return ticket, but they were open for a year. The good old days. You go somewhere and the tickets open. So I said, "Fuck this." He's not paying for $1,200 to bring me back after that $900 phone call. But one of the first wave Toronto punk girls was doing the door at the Marquee, where Nash played there. Nash played there 4 times, and So she goes, "Oh, my boyfriend's in a band, and they're touring America. Do you need a gig?" And I went, "Well, Nash is going back home for Christmas for a month or so." And it's like, "I'll do the tour. Who is it?" And she went, "Tom Robinson." Oh, fuck. So, yeah, I did a North American tour with Tom, and then came back, and Nash had returned, but was still in the studio, so I hadn't done any gigs, so I really missed nothing. And since I was there, I would do his gigs because he didn't say I was fired, but I knew because I was there, I'm still working for him. But I knew if I did go back at Christmas, I wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't have been. I just know that. And then later, that's when he was doing Children of the Night, at which I never went to the studio when he recorded. I basically spent every night I wasn't gigging, I spent going to see gigs. And I only paid for one gig in 13 months I lived in the UK.
Nice. That's not a bad
That was
deal.
Killing Joke. That was Killing Joke
Oh yeah, yeah.
in Luton. All I did was phone Virgin Records and go, "I want to go see XTC at the Hammersmith tonight," and I'd be on the guest list.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I know. So I spent basically my entire off time seeing gigs.
With
That
with Nash the Slash, I was just wondering, do you recall the last conversation you had with him?
Not specifically the last. I do remember one of the last. I believe it was our last gig. Apparently he was pissed off. I put 7 pints on his tab. Uh, two would have been fine, but he goes, "You spent $50 on beer," and I went, "So." So he took that on my check, and he died shortly after. So I think that was one of our last meetings.
Now I know you were talking about meeting Lydia Lunch in the late '70s when you went to New York. I know you're still to this day pretty close with Lydia. I was wondering, did you ever catch her live during the Roland S. Howard days?
Ooh, I wish. No, I've only seen Lydia do Teenage Jesus, Spoken Word, Retrovirus, and Brutal Measures. Uh, I did see her with Exene. They did a thing together. So that's all I've seen her like live. Um, I've saw it at times. I fucked her.
I
New
uh,
York City. New
I
York
know you've
City.
also met Nick Cave, and I know you're a birthday party fan as well, fellow birthday party fan. Have you met any of the other members? Because I know when you saw Nick in Toronto there, Mick Harvey still wasn't in the bad seats there when I saw you there.
I have met I've met Nick, Mick, and Roland.
Oh, so you did meet Roland.
I did with These Immortal Souls.
Oh, okay, all right. What
They
year
played in
would have that
Toronto at the
been?
Silver Dollar.
88, 89-ish, somewhere around there.
80s definitely, but the girl, the keyboard player, the girl was not with them. I guess she was dope sick and didn't want to cross the border.
Uh,
Actually, I freaked Roland out because I asked him if he'd sign my records, and he went sure, and I handed him a stack about this fucking high.
oh yeah, yeah.
It's like pretty much every. Mick Harvey told me I was only missing 2 extremely rare 45s at that point. I had everything. So Roland was like, because not only had all the birthday party shit, but I also had like Roland with Nikki Sudden and These Immortal Souls, like everything. So he was like, just like, holy shit, dude.
No, that's awesome. I would have loved to have been able to catch Roland live.
He was a very nice person.
That's what Lydia stressed, was that he was a total sweetheart.
But I also, anytime I've met, Lydia's turned me on to a lot of bands because she's done stuff with the bands. With bands I probably wouldn't have been turned on to, i.e. The Birthday Party, These Immortal Souls, Einstürzen, Sonic Youth, D. Hout. She's done records with all these people. Diamanda Glass. She hasn't done records with her, but I found out about all this music because of her. So whenever one of those bands, I would just go, hi, I'm a friend of Lydia. And that's how I met them. That's how I introduced myself to them. So it sort of disarmed them, right? Like, oh, you're a friend of Lydia's. Well, and then I don't have to worry about you, sort of thing.
Did you mentioned a lot of fellow people that she had worked with during the no wave scene. I was wondering, did you ever cross paths with James Chance?
Oh, well, no, he was in Teenage Jesus. So
When you saw them?
yeah, I saw James play with. I saw them at Max's, that show at Max's.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he
playing.
was still with them then. Okay, I
And
didn't know.
then later,
I figured the Contortions had been doing their thing by then. But
no, they hadn't begun yet.
Oh, okay.
They came later, and when Gary Topp, my boss, he brought them to Lydia to the Horseshoe. She had a new band, a new version of Teenage Jesus, which featured Jim Sclavunos on bass, who now is drummer for Bad Seeds.
Yeah.
He played that, and Contortions were on the bill. So that was the second time I saw James. The first being Teenage Jesus in New York, the second Contortions at the Horseshoe, and then I just saw James again 4 years ago. Also a Gary Topp show.
Was that 2016? I think you put a video up on YouTube of that, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Well, if that video was from that show, yeah. And actually, his trumpet player, trumpet player is Matt Golahan, who played trumpet with, to name 2, he's done many other heavy hitters, but the heaviest were Grace Jones and Bowie. And he just played trumpet. I have a new music project now with a guy from the UK, Steve Norris, called Mint Dogs, and Mac just played trumpet on our first track, free.
Oh.
He just did it because I asked him.
That's awesome. That's cool. Where is he now?
I've had a lot of those, man. Youth produced remixed one of my tracks, free. Mick Harvey has remixed one of my tracks, free. John Cato from the has remixed one of my tracks, free. Just because I asked them. I have big balls, so I ask big ball questions.
No, I hear you. Sometimes that's the way to do it. I know when I met you at the spoken word show for Lydia Lunch, I asked her about the performance and penis size of both Nick Cave and Roland S. Howard, and I remember you being kind of taken back, but I assumed if I came in soft with Lydia, she'd rip my head off.
When was this?
That would have been at Cherry Cola's in 2017. The year before.
Oh, so was that? So that would have been Brutal Measures.
It was her spoken word. She had Weasel Walter on half a drum kit and a synth.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's Brutal Measures.
Okay, all right then. Yeah, that would have been the show. Yeah.
That was fun.
No, Weasel Walters. Sorry.
That was a good show.
No, it was great. But Weasel Walter was just on the podcast. He's actually the episode right before you. He's a hilarious guy. Really cool dude.
I thought what he was doing on the drums was amazing. Like all the samples and traps he did with the guitar pedals. Just holy shit, that's a great idea. That's amazing. He's a pretty cool musician.
Yeah, he was actually saying to me during that podcast that was the most uncomfortable he's ever been playing live, was backing her up during those spoken word things, and he felt like he really wasn't adding to it. And I was like, even just the most primal of beats does a lot.
No, he was adding to it. I got to turn the AC on.
All right, man. All right.
It's getting fucking hot in here, man. Holy shit. Or I'm just having fucking, what do you call that shit? Hormone shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
I am an old fucker now.
Entering menopause.
No, andropause.
It's
called andropause.
The following year at Hard Luck, she came and played with Retrovirus, and I remember you heckling one of the opening bands and the security guard getting bitchy with you, and us laughing about how the scene has definitely changed over time. And I was just wondering if you could speak to good and bad you've seen change in the quote-unquote punk scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, the punk scene died in '79. After that, it was post-punk. But there's a whole bunch of posters going, I'm a punk. It's like, oh, fuck, dude, let it just die. So there's that shit. They just won't let it die. Plus, there's that attitude. It's like back in the day, I remember hearing about Thurston Moore yelling at an old chick band, I can see pussy dripping. And it's like, ha, that's really funny. And it's like nobody gave a shit. But the opening band sucked. So I was saying it sucked, and all of a sudden it's like I'm not allowed to say it sucked. What the fuck, dude? Now, which brings us into the whole woke shit. Because a whole bunch of bands now, like, we're punk, but they're so woke, and it's like, oh, okay, you can't be woke punk, because punk is not woke. Punk was meant to offend. Woke is meant to not offend. So fuck you. You're not punk. You're woke, and you're not punk. Because punk is not woke. It never fucking was, and it never fucking will be. Because punk is dead. It died in '79. People haven't figured it out yet, and they keep digging up its rotting corpse.
Now, I know you were talking about dealing with past addictions. What do you think of the uprise of the straight edge movement kind of resurging again? There's a real kind of push towards that.
I didn't know that. I know about the straight edge movement, like Silent Minority, What's His Face, and Fugazi, and Henry Rollins, and all that shit. So it's been around for ages. It's like, I have no issue with that shit. I've been smoking dope since I was 17. And after I got high for the first time, I've basically been high pretty much every day the rest of my life since then. And I'm not shitting you, man. Literally. Unless I was in jail.
Yeah.
I get high every fucking day.
No, I hear you. There's never a joint far.
I don't think I could survive if I didn't. I think the world sucks. It's not getting better. I'm so fucking tense and full of anxiety and depression. Um, I don't think I could survive without self-medicating. Also because I've been doing it since I was 17 and I turned 64 yesterday.
Oh,
That's
happy
a lot of
belated,
fucking
right?
years. That's a lot of fucking years.
Yeah, yeah.
But back in the day, I also was doing chemicals and hardcore shit. Then I got into the heroin and all the death drugs, crack and coke. I'm well into my 24th or 25th year clean, but I still need my smoking dope and my beer or red wine. That's just the truth of it. I'm sure there are going to be some assholes out there going fucking weak. You need your fucking crutch. Yeah, to them, I say, fuck you, man. So what? It does me smoking my weed or drinking my beer doesn't affect them, so that everyone can fuck off with their fucking judgment shit. I don't fucking care. Nobody can cancel me, man. I'm uncancelable. I'm a nobody, man. I'm a nobody. I got nothing to lose. I live in poverty, man. What the fuck you're gonna take from me? So I'm very outspoken on a lot of shit.
Now, I know you were talking about the new music project with partners overseas. Do you see yourself returning to playing live again?
No.
No?
One, I'm a shitty drummer, so no. I can't play guitar, even though I did on Nasty Mattress, but I don't know how to. I would do experimental shit, but as far as like a band that no, I couldn't do it. And as far as any projects I've done in the last decade, most of them are experimental and couldn't be interpreted live in the first place.
You said Nasty Mattress. Now, was that what the Charles Manson Hello Kitty t-shirt was about?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, alright. I remember that because before I met you, a buddy of mine came back from Toronto and gave it to my guitarist at the time and was like, oh, you'll love this. So it was just a complete freak occurrence. He bought it at some shop, I want to say in the
Oh,
Kensington
he bought it
district.
at Black Market. He probably bought it at Black Market or Public Butter because you're allowed to submit designs to them, and they actually have all the staff. It's very socialist, so all the staff vote on. That's good. That's good. And the ones they vote on are then Black Market prints them. And if you submitted your design, then you get 2 T-shirts and $50. But I think it's now 2 T-shirts and $100. So that was my submission, and because I got Hello Kitty,
Yeah.
which was a Nasty Mattress joke, my joke, because guys aren't supposed to like that shit. So I was just complete fun of it. Yeah, I love fucking Hello Kitty and shit. And then Nasty Mattress got into the Hello Kitty thing, and then I went, fuck it, I might as well get the tattoo. And people look at me and laugh, and they, oh God, look at him, a fucking guy would have. It's like, no, it's you're the one not getting the joke.
Yeah.
It is ironic, but it's also not ironic because it's come to the point now I actually like Hello Kitty. But not like a freaky fucking 12-year-old. It's a different thing, which I can't explain. I'll just leave it at that.
I wouldn't
It's
even
just
dig.
become it's more of a joke, but I'm not afraid to have something humorous on me that's forever. Like I said earlier, I don't give a fuck what people think.
No, I hear you there.
Close friends I do, But also, I would hope that they've known me long enough and know me as me that, yes, I have diverging opinions on a few subjects, that they know me and know that I'm a good person, and I don't mean any harm or bad shit. And they know I am a good person. I got good morals and shit. I've done a lot of bad shit in my life, and this is why I know that I don't do that shit anymore. That I know I'm a good person. I I I I don't think I do bad shit. I know I state opinions that some people don't like, and they get called Nazi and fascist and shit, but that's full of shit. They only got one note anyway in their fucking reply with that shit. Say, oh, you don't like the same thing I do, Nazi.
Yeah.
Fuck that crap, man.
No, I hear you. It seems like just a civil conversation is beyond reach for
Yes, it
too
seems
many.
conversation and civil discourse has been out the fucking window the last decade. It's like your way. Sorry, it's my way or you're a Nazi. To
Yeah.
me, that there's no room for discussion. It's just fucking. It's my way or you're a Nazi. And it's like that. Sorry, no, that's not how it works. It's not how it fucking works at all. And I prefer to keep the politics out of it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I hear you. I hear you. Now, the book that's coming out here, what we're all leading up to here, tell me about when you started to put that together. I know you said you were being bothered and bugged to do it.
yes. Do you know who Tony Burgess is?
The name does sound familiar.
Okay. Okay. Do you know the film Pontypool?
Yes.
Okay. He wrote the book Pontypool and then the script. And that movie was what he did. But he's got about at least a dozen books out. And he used to, when I did sound and book the Beverly Tavern, one of the nights was Elvis Monday. And what Elvis Monday was about was a number of really, this is so cool. It was like an open stage, and it was like music or poet stand up, whatever. And you would get 3 songs or 3 poems. And basically it was like an audition. And you did a whole bunch of Elvis Mondays and you get a little following, then I'll give you an opening act on a Tuesday. And then a show on a Tuesday, and then an opening act on a Wednesday, and then a headline on a Wednesday. And I build bands this way. And he was known then as Tony Blue, and he did poetry. And also another thing at Elvis Monday was it was called Elvis Monday. Well, one, it was on a Monday, and Elvis because everybody got really fucked up, and we got fucked up like Elvis. Hallucinating on the hand in Las Vegas, sweating in the white suit. He wasn't looking at his hand; he was hallucinating. So basically, we'd all like do volumes and drink beer and shit, and get fucked up, and it was fun. So, anyways, he about 4 years ago, I was doing okay before the book. I did a couple of gigs called Dent Tells Stories,
Yeah.
where it's basically an oral version of my book. And I would tell stories of my life and music and on the road and shit. And Tony said, you should write a book. And I went, nah, I just like to keep it, spoken word. And then he kept bugging me and bugging me and bugging me until, okay, I'll do it. So I started to write the book, and I started off by going, okay, what should I write about? Well, I got to write about the punk days, of course, how I started in music, Wireless, and those bands I worked for, the tours. And so I started writing, and I actually wrote it. I didn't computer it. I actually did it in cursive. Uh, most of it. Um, and I thought at 200 pages I was done. I went, okay, I did it. There's the fucking book. It, but then, but then, as I'm looking at it, I went, oh shit, I forgot this.
Mhm.
Oh fuck, I forgot that. Oh fuck me, I forgot that, and this. And then all of a sudden, it's like 250 pages, then 300 pages, then 400. It's like, and I'm still remembering shit. And then, so at the end, it's now 532 pages,
Well, that was
which
actually my.
I
Sorry.
absolutely did not think I had that in me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that freaks me out. And the weird thing is, considering I didn't even fucking want to do this and thought I was done at about 150 pages, which turned into 532. It's now I have like 6 other books in my head. That was sort of weird, considering I
Yeah.
didn't even want to write it.
No, you were talking about catching the writing bug after doing this one, and I figure you have enough experiences to write plenty of biographical type books. But is there anything in you now that to push towards the fiction genre? Is there a story in you that you want to create?
Well, the next one I'm going to put out, the next one I want to put out is my Melanie poems, because I wrote a whole bunch of poems for my Melanie.
Yeah.
So I want to put that out. So the next couple are going to be poetry books. Then after the Melanie poems, back in the late 80s, I put out 2 chapbooks. One was called Pearls Before Swine. The other was called Die With Me. So I want to combine them and reissue them as one. Then after that, I want to do another poetry book of like other poems I've written. And then after that, I was going to take this book I've done and do an expanded edition. But I thought, fuck that. What I'm going to do instead of that is I'm going to do a book called The Missing Link. And it's going to have all the, what I was going to expand the other book with. That's just going to be an addition to that. Missing Link, right? So it'll be all those stories. Plus, I also want to do a book of just sort of 1-2 page stories that are just weird, mundane stories of my life that have nothing to do with music. Just this weird shit happened today, but 1 or 2 pages. That's it. And then I want to do the next long book, which I'm not looking forward to because that it's about my junkie days, all my junkie stories. Which means I have to relive that shit, dredge all that shit up, which is going to be fucking heavy. And I am not looking forward to doing that. And that's why I put all the little books in between that book from this book, because this book kicked the shit out of me, and I'm still fucking not done with it. I have a friend proofreading it right now, and she's not done with it. And her cat pissed on it, it's pissing me off.
Jesus.
Although a cat, she's had the cat long enough. I know it pisses and shits in the fucking box. So she probably spilt something on it and blaming the cat. I just hope it's not damaged. So I just wanted to space between this and the next biggie. because this took me 3.5 years to write, and by the time I actually get the soft cover out, because the hardcover doesn't count, because that's a friend is paying for that. It's a lot of fucking money, man. Like $1,800. Doesn't want it back. I told my okay, how about half? Split it. He went nope. So I'm using that money to put out like 150 soft covers. That's how I'm going to finance being able to put it out. I'm not going to use the publisher because the publisher's going to fucking hassle me and do all the lawyer bullshit. Get rights for the photos and all that shit. I don't give a fuck about that crap. I'm only putting out like X amount of books. What do you sue me? Go ahead, sue me for what? $10 profit I made?
That
Fuck
was going
that
to
shit.
be
I
my
don't give a
next
fuck.
question,
And also,
actually.
it just
Sorry.
brings attention to it anyway.
That,
So that's just helping me. And then of course, the stories I tell in the book, they're going to want to figure if it's truth or whatever. It's like I'm completely factual and truthful in every story I tell. I did Hunter-S it out a bit in places. But it's still the truth. I just made it funny. That's
yeah.
all. Even though it was fucking funny. So I don't want to deal with that bullshit, man. Fuck that.
Okay, so you were saying you had a friend that was going to put up the cash to have the soft cover put out. How are you going about getting the hardcover put out?
No. He's paying for the. There are only 25 hardcovers are being made,
Okay, I got you.
and he's paying for that, and that's costing about $1,800 for 25 copies.
Really, eh?
Well, there's a number of reasons for the high price. One, okay, first off, it's because it's hardcover. Two, there's photographs. They actually, if I was going to have color photographs as well, but that would have cost me another $1,000 to have color photographs. So I had to have all the color photographs changed to black and white. Plus the number of pages. It's a lot of pages. And it's because it's only 25. So 25 at that price costs X amount per issue. But if I got 1,000 made, it would probably be half the price per issue, but also, 10 times the money to print that many. So he paid for 25, which is about $1,800. And I basically got rid of those I sold them all. I haven't got the cash yet, but I sold them all in about 4 hours. It's like, I'll take one. I went, this is going to cost you at least $75, right? They went, that's cool. I'll take one. I went, okay. And shipping.
Yeah.
Shipping on top of that. So it's going to cost them close to 100. It's like, not a problem, not an issue. Cool. So anyways, the shipping money is not mine because that's going to be spent for shipping, but the book is. So whatever I make on the book, that money there, which I was going to give back to my friend, he went, nope. I said, half? And he went, nope, it's yours. So I'm going to use that money to print up 150 soft covers.
Okay, I got you.
Which will not cost as much as a hardcover, but it will finance a bigger run at a lesser cost to someone who wants to buy one.
Yeah.
So I thought that was my best way to go to deal with this shit.
Now, did I read Lydia Lunch is writing a foreword to your book? Is that? Did I read
No,
that correctly?
I wanted her to, but she didn't reply. But actually, the book doesn't have a foreword.
Okay, all right. No, because I know she did.
It has 4 words. It has. I had about 8 or 9 different people write a foreword. I had Pat Place from Bush Tetras. I had Jeremy S. Gluck, which I did an LP with, Data Horror and me. I had Bob Burt from Sonic Youth and Retrovirus write one.
Yeah.
John Gill from Big Stick, he wrote one. Gary Top wrote one. Lynn Crosby wrote one. She's a Toronto author. I didn't want to keep it all musicians. I thought it'd be good to have an author in there. Jack Blair, another author, he wrote one, which Lydia just did the Tim Dahl thing with Jack. And Lydia told me Jack is her favorite author at the moment. And he's also a friend of mine now. I've got all his books except for one.
No, I was going to ask you about him, actually. That it's funny that you bring him up, because I met him the same night I met you there with Lydia, and I was wondering if you spoke with him at all about going the Amazon route with the book, because I know he's done
that's good question, because that in the beginning that's what I was going to do, and since Jack has done a number of books on Amazon, he says it's really tricky to set the shit up, but he knows that, so he was going to do that for me. Until my friend said, I'll pay for the 25 hardcovers. Because he had just divorced his wife. They had to sell the house. So he just came into $130K. So he's sharing the wealth. I mean, actually, he was the drummer in a band called the Absolute Horrors.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them. Never saw them.
They were fucking hilarious, man.
You used to like put drills through their guitars and stuff, right? Am I thinking of the right band?
What was that?
I said they used to like put drills through their guitar and stuff. Am I thinking of the right band?
No. They were just a rock band, but with like sort of sleazy lyrics and shit. Plus, they also put out a newspaper called The Whore's Rag. It came out once a month. and it was basically transgressive shit, like really funny and offensive shit. I mean, well, start off at The Whore's Rag, right off the bat. And it comes out once a month. They did about 12, 13 issues, so I was a regular contributor to that. So anyways, he is the guy that's doing this. And the funny thing is, I did sound for them back then, but I haven't seen them or at all in like decades. And then Facebook came. We became, hooked up on Facebook, but still never hooked up. Never really had any major communication. And now he's going, I'll pay for your book. And it's like, he also bought my turntable, which cost $1,000.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
This shit freaks me out, man. I'm not used to people being nice and good to me. And if they are, it's like, oh, so what do you want out of this? I'm suspicious. Like, what he wants fucking nothing, man. All he wants is me to do well and get my book out. It still fucking freaks me out, though. It really freaks me out. And I'm thinking of shit like, why do I deserve this? I'm pretty much an asshole. Why do I deserve this? I don't understand it. I can sort of get it, but I just don't. It's just really weird for me because my life's not been like that, man. Not been like that at all. It's getting fucked over all the time, and the occasional nice thing happens, and nice shit like that freaks me out. I can't explain why.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's certainly worse things that could happen to you. But that's it.
True enough. True enough.
All right, you got two.
I mean, the last 2 years have not been good to me.
Well, to most, really. I mean, that's a whole other conversation to get
Well,
into.
2 years trapped at home, and my Melanie died. I mean, it can't get fucking much worse than that, man. That was a heavy one for me. And also, a lot of my success is because of her. I mean, my first photo show I got because of her, and she wrote my artist statement. I wouldn't have got that show if she hadn't done that. And basically, every art show I did for her. Really, I did for her. And that's why I did it. I dedicated the book to her. Because she gave me that. She was my muse. She gave me that drive to create. And if it hadn't been for her, probably none of this would happen. None of my photography shows, not the book, even despite Tony's persistence and his hassle.
Yeah.
It really it was all about her, really. So it's not been a good 2 years, man. And even though I finished the book, it's bittersweet. It's like I wish she was here to see this.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
yeah. Well, my condolences on her loss. I know that definitely was a heavy one for you.
love of my life, man.
Yeah.
Love of my life.
Yeah.
I've never been with a woman like that before. She taught me so much. She really showed me what like real love is, and I learned so fucking grew so fucking much because of her. I mean, most of my relationships before that were like 1 night to 2 years. Really, like since the first relationship, she's the first like super long term relationship, and I truly understood the dynamics of a relationship, like sharing shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I did this. I did all the food shopping and the cooking because I know how to cook. And sucked at it, and because I did the cooking, the deal was you do the dishes, and if she cooked, because she did bake really well, she made a wicked quiche. So if she did that, I did the dishes. But she liked doing the dishes. She found it very zen-like. And I love cooking. Well, I did love cooking until she died. Now I have no interest in it at all. I have really no interest in very much at all. I got to do my dishes. They've been sitting in my sink for a month. That's how much I don't want to do anything at all. Really. But it was a wonderful split of stuff, and she was just an awesome woman. That really fucks with my head and makes me not give a shit about anything, really.
Well, to Mel.
So as much as I'm glad the fucking book is done, well, still not yet. Still got to do with the printing and shit. It's bittersweet. Like it's almost sort of like I don't even care, really.
Do you have or is there a date yet for when they will be printed out and available?
Well, I still got to get my proof back, and then see if I agree with what she says in the proof. She goes, "Oh, yeah, syntax errors," and there's no syntax errors. I just want you to check if there's any spelling mistakes. That's all, or weird spacing shit.
Yeah.
You know, So when I get that back, I'll go through everything, go, nope, 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 nope. All right, there is a typo. And then I'll tell the printer, then he'll give me a second proof. I'll go through that, go, everything's fixed. Okay, print. So, realistic guesstimate, end of June for the 25 hardcovers.
Okay, yeah, so it's
And
close.
then,
Yeah.
thank Christ, most of the people that ordered one live in Toronto, so they can come by my house and pick it up and save the postage. Okay, $3.25 bus fare, or fucking, it's gonna cost you fucking $20 postage at least, because it's 532 pages hardcover. That's gonna weigh a lot, man. And it costs
Even
you
a record
fortune.
is like $16.
And I have to mail 2 to fucking Martin Atkins. That's gonna cost me him a fortune. And I got another friend that ordered one in Texas. So I got to find, I have to bring the book and put it in an envelope and go, put it on the scale, go, how much to Texas? Write that down.
Yeah.
How much for 2 to Chicago? Write that down. So that's what I'm going to have to do, right? To figure out how to, and go, but I'm not paying for them now. I'll come back later. And then go home and then message these people, go, okay, it's going to cost you this much postage, and the book is this much, because I still haven't decided what the book's going to cost. Because the original estimate was for 302 pages or something. It's like now 332. So there's a whole bunch of extra pages, plus I snuck a couple of extra photos in. So half of it's been paid for already. Albert is paid half of it already. So after when I finally agree, okay, print it, then he'll say, okay, what you owe now is, and then Albert has to send that much to him.
Okay.
So that's how it's working. So I still don't know how much it's going to cost to decide how much to charge per book. And I want to be fair. I mean, I have to mark it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be $20. It can be $5. But I need that money
to flip it,
to finance
essentially. Yeah.
And I think everybody knows that.
All right.
And I donated one copy to Martin Atkins. He's got a post-punk industrial museum in Chicago. So I did that so I could be a founder. And after I told him to bring printed, he went, oh, when I said the 25 hardcovers, I told him I had one put away for the museum. So I had, and I'm keeping 2 for me. One for me, one for my archives, one for the museum. So that leaves 22. And Martin said, so I said I have 22 of the hardcovers for sale. It's going to be roughly 75 plus postage. And he messaged me and goes, I'll take one. I said, you already have one coming. He goes, I know, but I'll take one too. So it's like, yeah.
That's cool.
I also know he's just helping me out because he's got money. He knows I live in poverty. He's just doing that for me.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy.
That's very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, last 2 questions here because I know it's real late on your end there, Mr. Dent.
Oh, it's cool, man. I'm cool now. I still got half a beer and I got some weed, so carry on.
All right. During your long career, I mean, playing music as a roadie, photographer, out of all the venues you've been to, what had the worst bathroom?
Oh, easy question. CBGBs, bar fucking none.
Yeah, it was as bad as they say?
Worse. Oh my God, man. I think anybody who's been to CBGBs will like, yeah, he's right. I mean, first off, it looks like there's, I don't know, about 50 years of spray paint, 50 years of stickers. There's no doors on the stalls. You're lucky if there's toilet paper, and they fucking stink. So who wants to take a shit with everybody looking at you? So my first night there, the first day we arrived, right? We're in there early. So I go down there. There's only like 20 people in the place, right? Just like listening to music, hanging out at the bar and shit. So I saw a bathroom and I just went, note to self, find somewhere else to shit before coming here. That's how bad it is.
All right, and lastly, I guess you mentioned the new musical project, the book coming out, tons of different outlets, creative outlets you have your fingers in. How can people support you? Do you have a Bandcamp? Do you have a Patreon? Do you have physical copies of old music that you're selling?
I have none of that.
This would be the plugs section.
Yeah, I don't have Patreon. I'm not even sure how that works. And why would people just pay what I'm not doing any? I have to offer something, so I'm not making videos. So they're not. I like your video. Keep making another one. No, so
No, but do you have old albums still that you recorded with your older bands? Do you have any of that stuff?
yeah, that's on SoundCloud. I all that shit, man. I get my music away for free.
Oh, okay.
Like everything that I have, like that's audio that I have available, is on SoundCloud sites and all downloadable for free.
Oh, okay. Did you ever press any like
So
physical copies?
I just give it away. I don't make music to. I don't go. I want to start this band and we'll do these songs and make money. That's not why I do this shit, man. I do it to create. If I make some money after the fact, to me that's a byproduct, a bonus of it. But that's not why I do it.
No,
So
I agree. It
that's
should
why
be the driving factor.
free. If people want to mail me money, I'll give you my address. I'm cool with that. But or my email address so they can email me money. But other than that, I don't know why they would. They can get all my music for free.
And did you ever go the route of like selling CDs or 7-inches back in the day, or tapes?
No, there's no Dent shit at all. Although Jan Houst has tried to sucker us into giving up all our rights, and he'll put out a CD, and it's like, fuck that. I'm not giving up my publishing. No way. So there's no Dent shit other than it's like I said, the recordings you can get on SoundCloud free. My first CD I did with Jagger in Vancouver. I think there's 10 copies of that, and Data Whore, I think there's 10 CDs of that. And what else? I did another project with 1717. I think there's maybe 10 copies of that. Just all like my friend burnt and like made stickers for. They look really nice, but pretty much all of that's on SoundCloud as well. And I as of for those things, I've only got like copy for myself. Again, I just gave those out. Didn't sell them. Two I sold. My first one and the Data Whore one, I traded Liz Worth for a book, so I didn't really sell it.
Those T-shirts.
Reveal.
Sorry?
she got the better deal.
Hmm. Did you get any money from that? Did you see anything from those?
No, I
sales?
got treated like dirt, and she got my 2 CDs.
Oh no, the T-shirts I was
Trade.
talking about, the Nasty Mattress T-shirts. Did you see any money from Black Market when those were getting sold?
No, because you don't get money from that. They pay you $50 and you get 2 free shirts
Oh, okay, I got you.
if they accept your design.
Uh-uh.
But I did get my 2 shirts, and I bought a couple, which I get a discount, which I sold as merch. So, I think I made $30.
Yeah.
Oh, we're rolling in it.
All right, man. Well, with the book, I wish you the best of success with that. I definitely, you said you're out. All the hardcovers spoken for. When the softcover runs, definitely put me down for one because I want to read that. I wish you nothing but success and great health. Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
It's late over there.
Thank you very much. And actually, thanks for this. I've never done this before, so this is my cherry podcast.
Oh, well, I hope I was gentle.
So this was awesome. So thank you. And actually, I recommend you should do one of these with Jack Blair.
You know what? I was going to reach out to him actually and talk to him about that. That was on my to-do list for sure.
And you should try Youth as well.
Try who, sorry?
Youth. And Killing Joke.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know
Paul
you're
Ferguson,
huge.
Paul Ferguson, Martin Atkins. I see Harry Howard's on your friends list, so why not do one with Harry?
I've thought about that as well with Harry. Yeah. Because I mean, I did do the one with Phil not too long ago there.
How can I see this stuff? Like,
It's all on
do you
YouTube.
have a channel?
Yeah, it's all
Do you
on
have a
YouTube.
channel?
I'll send you the link.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
How long will it take you, guesstimate, to edit? Like, just
This one I'm looking to get up like ASAP. I'll probably try to get this up in the next couple days here because
cool.
I'm going to see Henry Rollins on Friday, and I'm gonna try and tank him down to an interview, but his manager's been pretty
Good luck with
uptight.
that.
Thank you.
No, actually, he's a nice guy, and he's a comedian now. He's not a hardcore, get out of my face, hardcore dude anymore. He's a comedian now. He's a pussy. So you probably have a good chance of that. So when you get all this done, can you send me a file?
Yep, 100%. Yep.
Because I want to put it on my YouTube site. I also want to put it on my Facebook.
Yep. No, I can definitely do that for you, 100%.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, again, thanks again.
Any last questions?
Anything burning on your mind that you want to get off before you sign off here?
Well, I should probably tell you about the data horror stuff. That was Jeremy S. Gluck. He's the singer in the Barracudas.
Okay.
I kept on my Facebook. I kept noticing a lot of my friends that Jeremy Gluck would be commenting and blah blah blah. And I just, who the fuck is this Jeremy Gluck that so many of my friends know? And the next comment on it was, "Hi, I'm Jeremy Gluck. I was a singer in the Barracudas," which I thought was pretty funny. So we started chatting. It became Facebook friends, and then he has these other music projects. He's got his alter ego is Data Whore. That's where the name comes from. That's his alter ego, and he does like computer shit, like samples and loops and all that stuff, all on computer. And I heard a couple of tracks on MySpace.
Oh yeah.
And one of them I really fucking liked, and I went, "This is very reminiscent of Killing Joke." And we talked, and then I sent him a couple of tracks I did off the CD I did in Victoria with my friend Jagger. That was off on my Everybody's on My Fucking List. That's the name of that CD. So I said, he liked it. He goes, "Oh, do you want to do a track?" So sure. So I sent him 3 CDs of me doing my spoken word, and he picked and chose them. So he did one. It's like, this is fucking great. Then he did a second. This is also awesome. Pretty soon that turned into an album. And then it turned into a second album, because the second album is one song remixed by a whole bunch of different people. Then a third album, which was various tracks off the record remixed by various people. And then an EP, which was 5 songs remixed by Eric Debris, who's apparently a very well-known English musician, remix dude. And so, plus Youth from Killing Joke did a remix. Mick Harvey did a remix. Joan Cato. So, yeah, so, like, me asking a stupid question turned into, like, 3 albums and an EP. So, it's like, that's one of my projects that I'm really proud of. And it's so unique. I mean, I'll send you a link.
All right. Yeah, I look forward to that. Yeah.
The whole album and the remixes. It's very unique. Like when I sent the shit to Youth, he had no fucking clue. He's going like, "What is this?" So he just tranced it out. But I think he gets it now. It's really trippy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check that out. That's on the SoundCloud?
There is some on SoundCloud, but I'll just send you the whole album. It's one of the links Jeremy put up. There's another guy you should interview. He'd be a fucking great interview, man. All of these people are on Facebook. Paul Ferguson, Martin Glover. So it's Paul from Killing Joke. Martin Glover's Youth from Killing Joke. Martin Atkins. Jeremy Gluck. They're all on Facebook. And I think they'd be all awesome subjects for what you're doing.
All right, well, I'll definitely look into that. I know you're talking about Killing Joke all the time. I'm not that familiar, I must admit.
They're my favorite band.
Okay, well, definitely.
And actually, it's funny. That's the only gig I paid for in the 13 months I lived in the UK.
Yeah, that's what you're
It's
saying.
Killing Joke.
So that says something.
Well, that was in Luton, and I'm sure Virgin Records could have got me on the list, but back then I was dumb and I probably thought, well, no, that's not in London, probably not. So I paid the money for it and took the train, and that's where I met UK Decay as well. No, I met UK Decay in London before that on Dead Kennedys tour, when I was on the Gary Newman tour, because Jello Biafra lived downstairs from Nash and I at Virgin Records Townhouse Studios. See, you're missing a whole bunch of shit here, dude.
Okay.
This chat's throwing this out here at you. So that's how I met the Dead Kennedys, because I heard they were downstairs, so I marched myself downstairs and went, "Where are the Dead Kennedys?" And they followed out, "Who wants to?" Me, I work for Nash, we're upstairs, blah, blah, blah. Then Jello said, we're going out on the road. UKDK's opening for us. Can you look after my records? They'd only been there a week, and Jello had over 200 albums.
Wow.
And this is how I discovered Killing Joke, because at the townhouse studio, at the door we went into or to our suite, someone had written Killing Joke and the marker on the wall there, and I went, don't know what that is. Sounds like a band name. If it is, that's a fucking cool band name. So as I'm going through Jello, after Jello went on the road, I'm going through his album collection. Thought I'd take the trip, and guess what I discovered? Killing Joke, Requiem 12-inch. I put it on. It's like, I just went, fuck me, I'd never heard anything like this before. And I loved it. And Nash was out. But as soon as Nash came in, I went, sit down. And I went, you have to hear this. And I put this on, and that basically same thing. And a couple of weeks later, Nash tells me, you'll never guess who I met. And I went, probably not, so just tell me. And he went, Killing Joke. And I just went, no fucking way, man. Like, really? And then he goes, yes, they just finished recording their second album here. And I'm going, so they had to be here at least a month. And I haven't seen them or anything, or even knew about this. And they've invited us to listen to they finished their second album, and we're invited in for the final listen. Oh my, and that's when I met him. Friends ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not only that, but underneath our apartments on the other side, the studio's on this side, there's a block, and then there's the cutting room, and then the apartments up here. Okay, the cutting room is where they cut the lacquer to get the record pressed. I got to sit in the room and watch Ian cut that fucking lacquer for that album.
That's cool. That's very cool.
The band weren't even there. It was just Ian and myself. Apparently Nick Loney, the producer, he insists he was there, but it's like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. I didn't even tell you me doing my acid story with youth at that police picnic. Oh, so that's police because remember I said I did this in America? We opened for the police 3 times. We opened for them in Montreal at the whatever that is, where the forum. I hated them. I hate on for them. Killing Joke just hated them just because they're the police and they're killing jokes. So that's just the way it is. So what we did after we finished all the beer at the end of the set and shit, we pissed all over the cushions in the dressing room, in the trailer, and turned off the air conditioning. So it's also like August, right? In August heat, so you can well imagine what that trailer's like. And after that, I had this green pyramid acid that when Nash played in Minneapolis, this guy named Julian said, "You guys do acid?" Yeah. And he turned his green pyramid, this gelatin melted in your mouth. Never mind 45 minutes to get off. You were like starting to peak in 20 minutes. That good and so fucking clean. And anyways, he mailed me like 250 hits to sell up here in Toronto. So in summer of 82 or 81, in summer of 81, there were 500 hits of green pyramid acid in Toronto that I fucking got in and sold. So Youth and I dropped the green pyramid acid that day and spent the rest of the day stealing golf carts.
Nice.
And actually, Youth really hates that story. Not the acid story, because that's common knowledge now. He just really hates the pissing in the cushions. He hates that story. But it's in the book, and tough. It happened. Live with it.
No, that police picnic you brought up, actually, Iggy Pop played that year, correct? And he had a daytime spot. Yeah. Did you ever meet Iggy?
Yes, he was on after Nash. It was Killing Joke, then Nash, then Iggy. And after Killing Joke set, Nash was, and they cut Nash's set short by 2 songs because they were running late and they wanted to get Iggy on.
Did you get to meet Iggy at all? Maybe not there, but at all ever?
I have met Iggy, and actually Nash toured with Iggy. I did not meet him at I did not meet him there because I didn't meet anybody there because I was hanging out with Killing Joke. That's all I wanted to do is hang out with Killing Joke. So that's what I did. I didn't give a fuck about anyone else. I did meet Iggy Pop later when he played RPM, and he signed all my records. And then later on, Nash opened for Iggy for 2 shows in upstate New York, and then later did an entire tour with Iggy. So Iggy and Nash were great friends.
Yeah, I know they toured in '82, I believe, together. So it would have been...
Nash did a whole tour with Iggy in the States. I didn't do that tour. I can't remember why. I think it was because I was working at the Bev, and that was good, solid, regular pay. And if I lost that, somebody else would have the gig. I could do the tour, but I'd have nothing when I came back. So shit was different then.
Yeah. Now, you brought up...
that might not, and I can't, or I was working with Sturm Group, or fuck, I can't remember. I know it was before he got back with FM. It was when he was still the Nash solo. He did that and that. Then FM reformed, and then I was back full time. Even though I didn't get a weekly wage back there, I got paid per gig. That's when it really started to suck. Because I wasn't making good money. I was only making like $100 a gig, but I had to set up the drum kit, all Nash's gear, and do lights. So I had to set up a Marty's kit, Nash's kit, set up the lights and operate the lights, and then tear all that shit down for $100. Fuck that. That sucked. So I was glad when they broke up again. And then Nash went solo.
I I mean, Nash was definitely better on his own anyway than FM, in my opinion. Anyway, at least I prefer the Nash The Slash records over the FM ones.
Well, Black Noise is great. Which is how I discovered Nash, was because of FM. I saw their very first 2 shows ever at A Space, and that's where I met Nash and saw FM. And also Nash was also a regular at the Crash and Burn, not playing but attendee. And because of that's how we sort of became friends, because of the Crash and Burn thing. And then it was like, oh, want to come over to my place and listen to yeah, fucking right. So that's how we became friends. And then it was after the Crash and Burn closed was when I started working with Wireless. And then I had a little meltdown because of a light board. That's when I did the Saga Lisa Del Bello thing. And that's when I approached Nash. Listen, I was making $125 a week. And I'll do that with you. And all you'll have to do is like walk on stage, play, and walk off stage. I will do everything else. And he said, yeah. And Nash only worked maybe 5 gigs a month, but I still made $125 a week, working or not. But he could just phone me up. Oh, can you go to Heinel's and grab me a set of violin strings? Or come over to my place. I need you to like unpack my shit because FM's coming in with some shit. I'd have to like reset shit up or whatever. Changes mandolin strings. Other than that, I got $125 a week, and I only had to do 4 or 5 gigs a month. He only had like me, a light man, and himself, and his costs were rent and food. He was making like $1,200 a gig, and so times 4. So minus 125 in his rent. He had like thousands in his pocket. You know, he probably like cleared $3,000 a month. And we're talking like early 80s. Rents weren't like they are now. So he had making good fucking money.
Yeah, well, and especially with the conversion over there too in the UK. I mean, they're almost 2 to 1 with us now.
Oh, back then, yeah, it was like $1 of our $2 of our dollars for $1 of the pounds. Yeah, but he didn't make any money in England at all. He didn't like. It took him years to pay back Virgin. And actually, when we toured in Europe with the Tubes, because I was the one who had to buy all the drugs. Well, Nash isn't. You know, that's what I'm for. I'm the guy that's supposed to go out and score, and I'm the guy that gets busted, not him. So that was also part of my gig, right? So I would be doing that. So I'd always have, Nash, can I get some money? Because we need some hash or we need some coke. And you go, you know what? Don't even ask me anymore. If you need money, just ask Lori. He was the road manager. Just say you want money and just take what you want. So it's like, I need an IWOW recording Walkman at for 350 more marks. That's what I need. Or I need a gram of coke. So yeah, so I took full advantage of that. Full advantage.
Did you get the recorder? Did you bootleg any shows?
Fucking nuts, man. Guess who one of the dancers were on the Tubes tour? Fucking Lucy Liu.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah,
She
and the
would have
other
been
one
young
was,
then, yeah.
there was also another famous dancer on that. She was blonde. Name escapes me now, early onset, but it's in the book. Oh, fuck. She was in Flashdance. But not the main chick.
Yeah, no, the big brown hairs.
So both of them were they were two of the three dancers with the tubes. I had Polaroids of all three dancers in lingerie.
Could have sold that Lucy Liu one.
I didn't even know it was Lucy. I only found out like 6 months ago it was Lucy Liu. I was speaking to the one of the sound techs who I worked with before, and we're talking about the book and the touring on the European tour. First time I did heroin, he turned me on to it. He doesn't want to admit that. He doesn't like that story in the book either. and we're talking about the tour, right? And the people, and it's like, and some blah blah blah, and Lucy Liu, and I went, "The fucking Lucy Liu have to do with any of this?" And he goes, "Are you serious?" And I went, "Yeah, like what, you know, the Asian chick, that was Lucy Liu." And I went, "What?" It was, I had no fuck. Oh, of course, the Tubes chapter had already been written. Now he tells me this shit and who the other woman was. Now I have to put in additional chapters. This is what I meant, you know, like 150 pages. I thought I was done. Nowhere near it. So this is what happened. Shit like that. Oh, and then, you know, people like Nicky from the Members died, so I had to write a chapter about him because he's who we bought hash off of in London. He was a singer of the Members. And then Nick Zed died, so I had to write another chapter about him. So shit happened that I have to add this shit.
All right. You know what? Actually, last thing I'll ask you about here. Tell me about meeting Nick Cave when that first happened and getting. I know you got backstage at the Scotiabank Arena and got a bunch of records signed, but I know you had met him previously before that too, right?
Yeah. What, you were at Scotia Plaza?
Yeah, 2018. Yeah.
And you were backstage?
No, not backstage. I was on the floor, and I remember you were in the stands screaming, "George! George!" And then I saw pictures of you backstage, and I was like, "Motherfucker, as if."
So the first time I met Nick was at Larry's Hideaway, the very first time the Bad Seeds played here, a Gary show. And, I just went backstage after. Chatted with Nick. He seemed very sort of standoffish. He was still in his junkie days. And that's how I connected with Mick and Blixa, which actually Blixa, one of my later girlfriends, she moved to Germany and went out with Blixa. So Blixa had my seconds. And so anyways, that's how we met. And the second time was at RPM. And that's when I brought a pile of records like this thick for Nick to sign. And he just went like, wow. And that's when Mick Harvey said, "You're only missing like 2 7-inch rarities you'll probably never find." And that's when I cemented my relationship with the Bad Seeds and Nick. Actually, Nick opened, when he saw all the records, that's when he actually opened up, because he was very quiet at Larry's. This time, talking, and the next time was Lollapalooza, and that's when he really opened up and actually asked if I could score for him, and I went no. And ever since then, we've always known each other. And actually, from the Larry show, I am the only one backstage now at his shows that has been there from the beginning. There's nobody else from that there at all except for me. Now it's all people like Mary Margaret and Marcus O'Hara and record company goofs and shit like that. and other fucking posers that got in with record company, but no real fucking fans like me.
No, that's funny. I remember you saying he wouldn't sign your copy of Honeymoon in Red, right?
Actually, the first time at RPM there, he did sign it. That was at that show with George.
Yeah.
So
No,
that show he saw that. No,
no, that's funny
and the
because
thing is, every time from now on, every time I go to see him, I'm bringing that record.
in Montreal.
That's the kind of asshole I am.
No, in Montreal, I brought a stack of records, met him, got the picture with him there, and he signed them, and I kept that one on the bottom of the stack. And when we got there, I was like, now I know this next one's a bit of a gamble
Did he?
with you. Yeah, he goes, normally I would never put my name on this fucking thing, and then he signed it.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, so I was pretty happy about that. Also,
Poor guy, man. 2 fucking sons, eh?
yeah, and then Jethro just last week there or whatever, but just how much shit can happen to one man, eh?
Wow. That's that's pretty fucked up.
It's hard
And
enough
he's got a
burying
tour,
one kid, let alone two.
and he's got a tour ahead of him. I wonder if they're going to postpone it. The European tour coming up.
Yeah, with the whole bad seeds. Yeah. Because he was doing that Nick Cave and Warren
And
Ellis
I was
tour.
hoping that after the European tour, that would mean a North American tour, which would mean Toronto.
Well, I know after the European tour, he's going to Australia to do the Nick Cave and Warren Ellis tour. So it won't be
He
immediate.
just did that. That was an amazing show.
Yeah, but not in Australia. He's doing the Bad Seeds
Oh.
tour in Europe and then taking the Warren Ellis thing to Australia.
That was a fucking amazing show, man.
You caught that at Massey Hall?
Yeah, and no support act.
Yep.
Sparks didn't have a support act either.
Mm.
I think it's because of COVID. And I didn't get to go backstage. I didn't get to go backstage that day. Actually, his wife, Nick's wife, got me tickets for that show.
Oh, really, eh?
But no passes. And I went backstage after anyway. I had to do a COVID test. But they said, oh, you don't have a pass. And I went, I'm Nick's oldest fucking Toronto friend, for fuck's sakes. Take a goddamn picture of me, bring it downstairs. He probably doesn't know my name. He just knows me as Michael. I went, just fucking take a picture of me with your cell phone, take it down and go, this guy. He would have let me back, but they were fucking assholes.
Mm.
But Mary Margaret and Marcus got to go down. Yeah, fuck me. They didn't even show up in the fucking scene, the Nick Cave fucking backstage thing, till fucking 10 years ago. I've been there. I'm the only one who's been there from the beginning. The very fucking beginning, the first fucking show. I'm the only one.
Oh, did you get to catch the Grinder Man period at all when they were touring?
No, that's a band I have not seen. But if they do come up, because I have no way of contacting Nick or Warren, but Jim or James, him I can just contact on Facebook, and he'll stick me on the list.
Now, did I see their manager? Did you have any association with him at?
I can help you out with the Nick Cave thing. Ask Jim Sclavunos has 2 Facebook pages, Jim Sclavunos and James Sclavunos. And it's only because he filled up the first one, he needs the second one. Mick Harvey has two as well.
Yeah.
But never mind Mick Harvey for the bad seeds thing. Contact Jim and also George, because George is Jessica. He's also on Facebook.
I have
Just
him on
ask
Facebook.
for an ad.
Yeah.
Just ask for an ad. Oh yeah, right. George is on your Facebook. Speak to George and just say, "Hey, I am doing this thing, these podcast thing. Let's start. Can I do one with you?"
Yeah.
See, and then say, "Oh," and see what he thinks of it when it's done. And you go, "Would you consider helping me set up one with Nick?"
Yeah.
Same deal with James.
No, because I know Nick isn't a fan of the Zoom thing at all, but every time that they've ever come around town, it's like I would pack all the gear up and go shoot in the green room, shoot on stage during sound rehearsal. I don't give a fuck, you know. I would shoot that fucker in person for sure.
So yeah, so I that's what I would suggest to start with. Speak with George and ask Jim. Or is Jim a friend as well?
I don't think I have Jim on Facebook. No, just George.
All right. Well, Jim and James Sclavunos, and just maybe send him a link for one of the videos you've done, and just say, you know, I'd love to do one of these. Would you be into it?
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I'd approach Jim. I'd approach Jim first. Ask him for an ad.
Yeah, no, well, I know he's definitely, like, he's done a few podcasts, so he's like, open to the idea, at least, yeah.
Well, he does his own. He has a regular one he does, where he plays music and stuff.
Oh, okay, because I know he appeared on Lydia's a little while back ago there.
Yeah, the Lydia Spin.
Yeah.
With Tim. Actually, she just did one with Jack.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wish she'd do one with me. I've done more than Jack.
Hey,
known her longer than Jack.
Well, I'll
and Jack hasn't fucked her.
Are you in contact with Sebastian?
I was, but he doesn't like a lot of my posts, so he unfriended me.
Well, I guess you got to play the politics when you're in that position, eh?
Whatever.
No, because I messaged him about trying to see if I could talk Lydia into doing this. He never responded. Same with Mick Harvey's management. I never heard back from them either.
Fuck Mick Harvey's management. Just ask Mick Harvey for an ad and ask Mick Harvey directly.
You're talking like on Facebook?
Dude. Yeah, remember Big Balls? Ask Big Ball questions?
No, yeah, I shot Mick Harvey a message, but...
Ask Mick Harvey for an ad on Facebook. He's got two, Michael Harvey and Mick Harvey. And he will add you. And when you do, just get Big Balls and ask him if he'd want to do one of these.
I might be better off with the Michael Harvey, because I have tried to add him, and I messaged the Mick Harvey account. I did not know about the Michael Harvey
Yeah, but
account.
one of them is full. You're only allowed 5,000 friends.
Yeah.
So you have to, I don't know which one. I think it's Michael Harvey that's the second. Mick Harvey, I think, is the one that's full. You'd have to look and see how many friends and go ask the other one for an ad.
Okay.
But he's a very nice person. Very nice. And mention my name.
Will do. For sure.
Yeah, just say I'm doing these podcasts and I really dig your music, blah 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 blah. He also plays bass and guitar for PJ Harvey, now.
Yep.
He's in her band. So I mean, you got the birthday party, you got the Bad Seeds, you got PJ Harvey, you got Mick Solo shit.
Yep.
You can ask him about. Just you know, I'd like to do a little podcast with you. I bet you would say yeah.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I
I've
asked him, would you?
reached out, but I'll keep at it.
I asked him if he'd do a remix of a Data Whore record, and he just went okay.
And that's
And
awesome. That's fucking cool.
well, that's where I get the balls, right? I just say fuck it. I'm going to ask him this. There's only two answers: yes or no.
Worst case scenario, you're in the exact same position you're in now.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
And he said yes. And it's like, bonus. Yes. Awesome. He's another one that didn't quite understand what we were doing. But he got it a bit more than Youth did. Because all Youth did was turn it into a trance song. Basically, Youth didn't even remix anything. He just made a trance song and dropped my vocals into it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You'll see. I'll send it to you. Probably not tonight because I have to search for it. But I'll get it to you the next day or two.
All right, I look forward to that, and I'll send you a couple links because I interviewed Phil Calvert, like the original drummer, Boys Next Door, in the birthday party. And did you see that little documentary on the birthday party called Mutiny: The Last Birthday Party?
Don't know when did it come out.
Oh, it didn't come out till way later, but it was shot in '83 in Germany during the Bad Seeds / Mutiny recordings. Like right at the end.
Is there Nick Cave's art like on the oh shit, what album am I thinking of? Not Junkyard.
The EP after that.
Not EP, it's an album. Prayers on Fire. The back of Prayers on Fire, there's that painting by Nick Cave that's sort of like a mask sort of looking thing.
Okay,
or
yeah.
some sort of
The skull with the arms.
Is that image in that DVD?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have seen that once when it came out.
Oh, okay. I interviewed him, and that was great. Like he had just like crystal clear memories of having the birthday party stay at his flat, what it was like
Who's
recording
this?
in studio. Sorry?
The guy who made it?
Yeah, Heiner Muhlenbrock. Yeah, German dude. Super fucking cool. So I've been circling around trying to get to Cave for sure, but
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
yeah, no, thank you. And again, thank you for being here tonight. I know it's stupid late over there.
Oh, no, but thank you. Like I said, it's my cherry podcast, and I appreciate this. I mean, all this can do is help me.
Yeah.
And I actually, I'm really touched you even asked me. Because I'm a nobody.
You are full of experience, and that goes a long way.
Well, I've done a lot of shit, and I know a lot of fucking cool people. I'm just fucking with you. I know I'm not a nobody, but I'm not a heavy hitter. I'm just like a minor player. But so what? Everybody needs supporting actors.
No, exactly. I hear you. You know what, actually, on that note, Ben, you have met a ton of iconic people, artists of all walks of life. Is there anybody that you really looked up to or thought fond of, and then they turned out to just be a complete, utter cunt to you?
Ooh. Chrissy Hind. Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Henry Winkler.
Henry
Fucking
Winkler, eh?
cunt, asshole.
You wouldn't think of Henry Winkler as an asshole. That's hilarious.
He is. It's funny. Arnold Schwarzenegger has 2 security guards that are half his size. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger needs fucking security. Okay, and they're smaller than him. Nah, he's a fucking piece of shit. As is Henry. As is Chrissy Hind. The Chrissy Hind stories in the book. That was at Hammersmith Odeon when the Ramones played there, and she was in the dressing room, and she was a right cunt. And she's fucking ugly, man. Her fucking face is so airbrushed on album covers. Her fucking face looks like the lunar surface. It's so pockmarked. She wears so much fucking foundation, man. She's ugly outside and ugly inside.
Yeah,
I
Chrissy
forget
Hind,
what
she
the
always pops up places, but she never really did it for me, I must admit.
I can't remember right now what the specifics were, but she was cunty, and I don't like cunty. And she didn't know the Ramones. The Ramones were friends of mine, so it was something about that. I forget. It's in the book. I remembered for when I was writing it. Right now, I can't. Early onset. That seems to be happening these days.
I know he came a little late in your musical career, actually, but now that I'm thinking about it, did you ever cross paths with Gigi Allin?
I did.
You did?
And actually, I didn't start my music. I started my music career in '76. And yeah, I did. I opened for Gigi Allin. I did sound for Kitten with a Whip. I was their sound man. And they had Foo and Electric in Montreal had a shock festival. And it had Mark Print art installations all on the second floor. And Gigi Allin was headlining. Schlonk opened, and then it was Kitten with a Whip. And yeah, so yeah, I met Gigi Allin. I had beers with Gigi Allin.
Was he closer to the Kevin Allen or the Gigi Allen persona when you met him?
Gigi.
Yeah.
Oh, when I met him, Kevin, on stage, Gigi. Different person. He was very affable. He's quite very friendly. But that could have been the day as well.
Yeah.
But he also knew we were the opening act, so there might have been that. Oh, you're a musician as well, sort of, and not some just random dick in the crowd. Oh, it was a fucking. To me, that has to be one of the top. Definitely one of my top fucking 10 shows for sure. I've never seen anything like it, nor smelt anything like it. The entire Fluffoon smelt like an outhouse. It just smelt like shit. The entire place. They hired a hooker. And so at the beginning, the band's playing. He gets on top of her. She knew, she took her top off. She knew she's being paid for all this. And he gets on top of her and then reaches in behind himself and then goes, whack! And smears shit right down her fucking front. She didn't know that was going to happen. She fucking freaked and just jumped up and ran out of the club screeching. And every time Gigi tried to get into the audience, there's a whole bunch of security at the front. They had to grab him and make sure he didn't do that. And they were great at that, but they're in the line of firing for this shit fling.
Oh, yeah.
I hung out at the soundboard far enough away that he ain't gonna fling that shit as far. I think story's. I think that story's in the book. I know it. Oh no, it's not. Oh fuck! See, this is what I meant by the missing link.
Missing
I
link.
I told about Kitten with a Whip with Ministry. I forgot G.G. Allin. Oh well. Or maybe, actually, I did not. I did not. It is in there. Because I now remember one of the photographs I put in there was Mark Print. And the only way I would have put Mark Print in there is if it was in relation to that show. So it is in the book.
Oh, fucking A. Fucking A. All right.
Some funny ass shit in there, man.
Well, like I said, man, I want to grab a soft cover when that run comes, so keep me in mind.
That'll probably be like July time, August. I got to deal with the other shit first.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
And then they have to redo the cover at the printers. They got to redo the cover and everything. It's a different format. So, but that's about it. So the cover. That's basically all they have to change is the cover.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
So yeah. Oh fuck me. That's basically the plan.
All right, man. Well, I look forward to it. I'll let you get out of here. It was great chatting with you, Michael. Like, honestly, thanks for doing this.
It was. Any last question before I go?
For now, I think that's it. If anything else comes up, we'll put when the missing link is coming out.
That's three from now. The poetry first.
Right. Yes, the poetry from Mel.
Because I've already written that shit. All I have to do is put it on a page and send it to the printers. And I've also got another printer. I don't have to pay for it. If they like the book, they'll just publish it. And they aren't one of them that are gonna like, yeah. They're just a small town dude that puts out all this stuff. So they won't. If they just like it, they'll just print it. That's all. So easy.
Well, if that doesn't work out, I hope something does with Jack and the Amazon route too. Like, I hope that's an option that could work out.
That is always an option for the other books. Always.
Because the shipping thing that you were talking about, it really does suck. Like, Canada is horrendous for it, especially like ordering something. You can get it from Amazon for basically free. If they ship it, you order from somebody, it's going to be at least $15.
I mailed a photograph, like a 5x7, like a postcard to the UK. It cost me over $3.
Yeah.
For a postcard.
Yeah. Well, no, I've paid $24 in shipping for a record, and you gotta think even the heaviest record is 180 grams. Like, that's not.
No, it's not.
That's not fucking heavy.
No, there's 200 grams.
Yeah, I guess those are a little more niche, though. You don't come across them nearly as often. A lot of the remasters are 180, but I mean, even still, you think when people ship pounds of stuff, right?
I just got a record that cost me. I just got a record that cost me $30, but I had to pay $60 for it.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
The vinyl cost me $30, but the shipping same. So I think it was like $68. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, so like you said, fortunately, a lot of people after the book are in Toronto. They can just swing by and pick it up.
Exactly. So I'm thinking most of them live here. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I have to fucking piss like a racehorse.
Man, Michael, it was good having you. Thanks a lot.
Later. Thank you so much for this. I had a great time. Great chat. lovely evening. And yeah, let me know when you get all this edited and shit.
I'll send it to you. Cheers, Dent.
Thank you. You as well. I wish I had beer to do that. I'm out now.